My name is Kimberly, as you guys know. I was born May 2nd, 1991. I was a little baby, slightly, I think, above 5 pounds, and I was the second child of what would become 4. My natural hair color is brown, and when I was about 13 or 14 years old, I started dyeing it. It would go back and forth between red, like it is now, and black. In between, I have had colors like purple was a few months ago, and a few other colors, but red and black are my go-tos. When I was born, my name was supposed to be Ashley. Thank God it's not. My Aunt Mary hated it. My mom thought about some girl she went to high school with named Kimberly, and she loved the name. And that is how I got my name. My middle name, of course, is the same as my mother's, which is Anne. In school, I was a really average student. It was about 6th grade that I started to become lazy and focus on social aspirations and friends and liking boys and all that stuff. And I passed with like a C for the most part, or I did a lot of makeup work to make myself pass. But I graduated on time. That's all that matters, right? When I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, I was about 6 or 7 years old, I fell in love with Sailor Moon, Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z, Tenchi Muyo, but Sailor Moon is what got me into kind of the personality that I have now. I love anime now because of it, manga, I love Japanese culture, I love artwork, I learned how to speak a little bit of Japanese, none of which I'm doing for you because I'm not good at it at all. But it sparked so many different aspirations in me. Art was probably the #1 thing that I have to thank Sailor Moon for. The very first video game I remember playing was probably a Sonic and Knuckles game. I played it when I was 4 or 5 years old with my mom. I don't know why I remember that, but I remember watching her play as Sonic and doing the hoops with the rings and everything, and I was Knuckles and followed her everywhere she went. It must have been frustrating playing with a 4-year-old, but that is the first video game I remember playing. Michael Jackson got me into music, period. I was never into the boy or girl bands that all of my friends listened to. I loved Michael Jackson. I would dance to the Jackson 5 when I was little. In elementary school, I would write like I love Michael Jackson on papers. The Thriller album was probably one of my favorites. I learned how to appreciate it a lot more as I got older and really interested in music. The musical influence I have today is thanks to Michael Jackson. I moved a lot as a kid. I've probably moved about 10 times in my life or more. Thankfully, it was always within the same school district. It was just a different house. My mom had this issue with never settling in one place for too long, so about every 2 or 3 years we would move, and it became a habit to just learn how to pack up and leave. I grew up knowing, oh, you can't settle for too long in one place. You have to get up and have a new experience in a new home. But as a child, I've probably moved about, I want to say between 8 and 12 times. Now, my first kiss, it was technically on a bus when I was in kindergarten with this kid named Brian Sullivan. I was getting dropped off at the house and we were in the back of the bus. He leaned over and he kissed me, and I like floated off the bus, and my older brother who was on the bus with me, I don't know if he saw or if he just knew, but he questioned me about it, and I always said no, and I denied it for the longest time. And I still kind of don't count that. It's just a funny story about me. But the first kiss I do consider to be my very first was when I was 13. He kissed me in a bowling alley parking lot against his red car. And it was nice. It was awkward. It was probably bad. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old. My father remarried when I was about 11 years old, but my mother never remarried. She was in a serious relationship, and that's how I got my baby brother Nicholas, who I love and care for so much. But I do come from a broken home, and I've grown with it being okay. And I still believe in marriage and love, so that did not affect me. Speaking of family, my family is complicated. Both of my parents have passed away. I'm not really going to include that in a fact because I don't really want to bring this down at all, but both of my parents are gone, and because of that I've adopted other people as my family members. My ex-boyfriend's family, they are my family. They are my mom, they are my dad, they are my brother, they are my sister. My ex-boyfriend is not really a part of that to me. He is their family and I am their family, but he and I are not family. However, if anybody meets me and has an issue with it or thinks it's weird, I would be glad to explain how they're my family. They helped me graduate and everything. But if they still don't like it after that, then you can't be in my life. And that is a fact. Whenever I go through a breakup or I'm really sad or depressed, I listen to Panic at the Disco's A Fever You Can't Sweat Out album. I've been doing it since I was about 14 years old, and my high school boyfriend and I broke up. I don't know what it was about that album, but it just got me through it, whether I wanted to dance, or I wanted to sing, or I just wanted to listen to something to distract me. And to this day, if I'm depressed, you will hear me listening to Panic at the Disco's A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. I know I spoke about video games earlier, Sonic being my first one, but my favorite video game ever is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I know it's cliche, everybody loves that game now, but I loved it before Hot Topic started selling apparel. That was the first game that I ever beat on my own, the first game that really drew me into the story, the first game that I bonded over with my brother. I love that game, and the storyline and the art. Even though they revamped it for the 3DS, I would still pick up an N64 and hold that controller in my hand just to beat the Deku Tree with my eyes closed, which I can do. I recently moved from Michigan to Florida, as I'm sure you guys all know. The experience I'm so thankful for, and it's been a good one. I've made money, I've made new friends, I've gone through some stuff down here. It's been beautiful, but I'll be moving home soon, so watch out for that. You might see me sooner than you thought you were going to. After graduating high school, which I graduated in 2009, I went to school to become a medical assistant. It was one of those year-long programs, super quick and to the point. I got hired right into my internship and worked in a doctor's office for about a half of a year, but the doctor who I had, she called me ugly and called me a freak and put me down all the time, and that made me want to flee from it so quickly that I quit and I never looked back. When I was 13, I wanted to play the bass guitar. Music was very influential to me then, and I had all that teen angst inside of me, and for some reason, the bass just struck a chord. But I took the easy road and decided to pick up a guitar. I was self-taught, and I played with my friend in high school. It was just a little bit of acoustic stuff here and there. I wasn't very good, and that's probably why I don't play anymore. I aspire to chase after my first love, which is the bass, and maybe even pick up the piano. When I turned 21 years old, I spent my birthday alone, watching a Big Bang Theory marathon because all my friends were too busy to hang out with me. However, a year later, they made up for it. I got drunk for what was probably the first time, and I ended up crawling back to my bed like an inchworm. I'll never forget, and I'm sure they'll never let me live it down. When I fall in love, I obsess over things. I call it passion. Other people wouldn't be so quick to say the same. From Gerard Way when I was 13, to Kurt Cobain when I was 16, to Dave Grohl and Markiplier today. I don't know what it is about it, but I believe passion is a driving force, and I have a lot of it when it comes to love. There are two things I cannot stand about people. Number one is lack of common sense. My speed, the speed that I have with people in conversation, I just can't stand it, and it creates this pressure in my chest, and I can't be around it. I will give them the benefit of the doubt, but I can't put myself around it. Number two is people who feel entitled. Maybe it's because I work in a restaurant business, and when people are snapping at me and telling me what they deserve or need, it does create a fire in me. I am the kind of person who believes you have to work for what you want and value what you have. I cannot stand people who feel entitled. Even if you earned it, don't flaunt it. Just accept it, love it, be thankful for it, and have it in your life. Don't throw it in other people's faces. And my last fact, when I grow up, which 24 might not be grown up, but when I do, I want to become a mother. It is something that I know that I'm going to do, and it is something that I know I'm going to love. Something that I can call me, something that I can call the person who I love. Just this little bundle of two people, and it's this living little thing, and that's what I want. I want to be a mother. I want to be married one day. I might not be out having a good time and drinking and putting things on the back burner. I'm not trying to go out and create a family or anything right now, but I know that that's where I want to be. I've always said that when I grow up, I want to be Lorelai Gilmore. I want to be quick-witted and raise a child and just be everything to them and them be everything to me. Give it 5, 10, hopefully not 15 years, but that's my goal in life. To have something worth living for. To have something that technically leaves my mark on this earth. And in that is my last fact. Thank you guys very much. If you guys want to know anything else about me and you have a YouTube or a Google Plus or whatever, you need to leave a comment, you can totally. Leave a comment below if that's what you want to do. If not, I don't have Facebook. I do have an Instagram, though. I'll leave a link to that if you want to check me out. I have a Twitter if you want to ask me anything else, or I'm sure most of you who are watching this probably have my phone number. So, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm going to try to make more vlogs soon. I do have something coming up in about a week. I'm going to have a very special friend in town, and just like what I did for Amber, I'm going to make another video for him. Alrighty, guys. Have a great day, night, morning, whatever it is. I will see you next time. Bye!